Greetings, YouTube. Today I'm going to be talking about a module. Before I go any further, I would like you to know that I did receive this copy as a review copy, so I wanted to be upfront about that. And I am presenting you with an overview. I don't want to go into details. It's being a module, I don't want to spoil it for you. It is the Maximum Mayhem Dungeon Number 1, The Hanging Coffins of the Vampire Queen, written by Mark Toromino, adventures for characters levels 10 to 13. This is being put forth by Freak Show Games, and it is a little blurb in the corner, so it emulates an actual old school module for use with classic fantasy role-playing systems. And the best thing about the cover is the artwork is actually by Jeff D. For anyone that's into old school modules, you will know exactly what that means. And I will, however, read the blurb from the cover because it is very important and it will give you some information without revealing too much. And I'll get in a little few more details following that. Death or freedom. The Vampire Queen has challenged a small band of her worst prisoners to escape from her wicked dungeon lair. With all of your original weapons, magic items, and possessions, it is up to you to outwit and fight your way through terrible traps, beastly monsters, and all the horrific surprises she has arranged for you. Maximum Mayhem Dungeons are created with one thing in mind: ass-kicking fun. This adventure has that classic look and feel, both inside and out, including blue maps and old-school fantasy art from some of the best artists in the business. Filled with irreverent characters, diabolical villains, over-the-top monster encounters, outrageous magic, mischievous NPCs, traps, puzzles, and more blood and gore that you can shake a +5 staff at. This adventure will entertain and challenge anyone who dares to play it. I apologize. This product uses the Osric system, old school system reference and index compilation. This module can be played with any fantasy role-playing system you may want to use it with under the Open Gaming License version 1.0a and can easily be adapted to most campaign settings as well. If you like this module, look for future adventures soon. And I would agree with everything as far as the compatibility is concerned with this module. There also says a little blurb in the corner, gives you the Freak Show Games logo and their freakshowgames.com, their address, and then a little age warning: rated A for awesome, 17+, puzzles and traps, violence, blood and gore, adult language and situations, extreme fun, for badass players only. Suggested for mature players, 17+. And I would agree, there is also some topless art in here that some people may be bothered by, but I'm 50, I'm not bothered by it. And the blurb on this cover nails it. This is completely and utterly over the top. This is a Gygaxian module cranked to 11. It is absolutely I was like, I don't know, the third paragraph into this, and I was already laughing out loud because it just made me smile. My wife's like, "What?" Particularly seeing I was sitting at Starbucks at the time. The treasure alone that you find in this made me smile so much because it was something right out of the G series, the giant steading on the first Hill Giant module of the G series. It just completely absurdly detailed lists of treasure in a way that we obsessed about back in the 70s and the 80s. We wanted those lists of incredibly detailed treasure. We wanted that list of 47 jewels and semi-precious stones and how much each was worth and all that balderdash. It was absolutely nuts back then, and it's nuts even more now. It's kind of come full circle. The encounters are incredibly monstrous. I mean, just throwing entire clans of monsters at you all at once. It's like, no, you're not going to encounter a giant. You're going to encounter an entire group of giants. This is definitely high-level play, and it's high-level play of a style that was very reminiscent of the first edition of the game. So I had a good time reading this module. It was, like I said, completely over the top. It was almost like me reading the module, like it was almost like the MST3K crew were with me, reading it with me. Like, it was just like my head is making comments, and it's just so over the top that you're like, were they serious when they did this? Of course they weren't serious when they did this. This is emulating a style that hasn't been around in a very long time. And they emulated it extremely well. So if you are into the classic legacy style of fantasy games, reminiscent of first edition D&D, and particularly you have a fondness for that layout, the types of maps, the types of encounters, the types of treasure, the types of overblown exposition put forth by the villains and such. This module is definitely something that is falling right in your ballpark. So I would recommend going and getting a copy. It was a fun read. I got to be honest, I don't know if I would ever use it because this is not a style that I really want to emulate, but this would make a great beer and pretzels module. If you were to have some friends come over, you just hand them character sheets that you've already made up in the right party mix and levels, and you go ahead and run. And this is designed for a large party, up to 10 characters. So this is a lot of characters, and they're all high level. So you're looking at a lot of power and a lot of diversity in your group. I would be really hesitant to take this module on with a party that was with as few as 5 people. You really need more than that, I think, to pull this off, unless they're all at the upper tier of the level selection. 5 or 6 14th level characters might pull it off. It's going to be a tough one, though. It's not going to be an easy slog to get through this. And the fun of this module is completing the module. Yes, clever player characters may just be able to disappear, find a way out some way. But that defeats the purpose, which is to defeat the bad guy and go through the entire module and find all the treasure. This is where you're going in there to get every single last copper piece, because by gosh and by golly, that's what we did. So I recommend you take a look at it. If you like high-end, high-level play, and you like kind of absurd, over-the-top style of treasure and encounters and maps and stuff like that, I definitely think this is something that you would enjoy. Like I said, I had a good time reading it, and I guess I can't ask for more than that now, can I? So go forth. Check out Freak Show Games and see if this module is something that you want to buy.